As you can see, I'm surrounded by green. Well, I'm not surrounded by green, but we are sponsored by the good people at Wash and Go today. The lovely people at Wash and Go. What I'm on about, good people. And people often say to me, Mark, is it not hard being a Wash and Go ambassador? And I always have to reply to them like this. Being a rocket engineer is hard. Just ask Elon Musk. Being Manchester United manager is hard. Just ask the 4 managers that have taken over since Sir Alex Ferguson. Being an NHS worker, that's hard. Heroes. That is really hard. But being a shampoo ambassador is as easy as taking a bath. It really is. So next time you're having a really hard day, just run a bath, light some candles, put on some relaxing music and lather up with Wash and Go. Classic Wash and Go. You can pick up your bottle at any good retailer or by hitting the link in the description and getting it delivered straight to your door. Thanks very much to Wash and Go for supporting the United Stand. Now let's move on with the show. And remember, Wash and Go, it's invisible. It's invisible. Was he saying goodbye last night? We'll talk about that as well. But we're going to start off with the main story. Donny van der Beek, is he leaving? Does he want out of Manchester United? I said after my match reaction last night that I was going to make a couple of calls. I've only actually got to speak to one contact. They're quite good. I will say straight away, they're not giving it out 100% he's leaving. I think from the conversation I've had with them this morning, I think there's an exclusive coming from them at some point. I might be miles off with that, but I think there's an exclusive coming from them. But what I did get told basically conveys the situation with Donny van der Beek as to where we are now. Now, the first thing I was told is what we've heard on this show from other journalists over the last 6 months, is that Donny van der Beek wanted to leave Manchester United at the end of the transfer window in the summer. He was nearly going to go to Everton. He wants to play football. He wants to be part of the Dutch squad. He wants to play in the World Cup and he wants to sort his career out. His career has been on hold for 2 years. And what I'm very eager to do this morning is put it out there that Donny van der Beek wanting to leave Manchester United is not being a traitor to Manchester United. It's a player who's been here for nearly 2 years who is not being used. In fact, Ralf Rangnick has played 4 Premier League games, 360 minutes. Donny van der Beek has played 6 minutes in 4 Premier League games, and Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes were unavailable last night. So, you know, you don't need a weatherman to tell you it's pissing down, and Donny van der Beek doesn't need, Ralf Rangnick to tell him that his future at Manchester United is bleak. Why that is, we'll talk about in a moment. But Donny van der Beek, will Manchester United allow him to leave? What is the situation? Now, what I was told this morning is Donny van der Beek wants out of this situation. And this situation, and that's about as blunt as they would be. He wants out of this situation. The situation is him sat on the bench for Manchester United and not in the Dutch squad. He wants out of that situation. Now, does Ralf Rangnick come in and change that situation? Well, a month ago, it seemed like it would, because Donny van der Beek is a Ralf Rangnick type of player. He's energetic, he passes forward, our players aren't intelligent enough to do it yet. Whether there's a future for Donny or not is debatable, but he can't afford to miss January, because if he stays to United till the summer and doesn't play much, he ain't going to the World Cup. So he's got a big decision to make, Donny van der Beek. And there are some rumours as to why he didn't play yesterday. Ultimately, he didn't play yesterday because he didn't fit the system. He's not a winger like Sancho or Greenwood. He's not a striker like Ronaldo or Cavani. And he's not a holding midfielder like Matic. And Rangnick likes McTominay, who played very well last night. So, yes, there was no Bruno. Yes, there was no Pogba. But Donny wasn't picked and wasn't wanted within that team yesterday. Neither was Fred. So, you know, Donny's in company of a player that has been playing a lot, but he's not been playing. Now, why does Donny van der Beek want out of this situation? Now, what I was told this morning is, and as we already know, is that there are cliques within Manchester United. And I think what some fans have done wrongly is they've thought, Ralf Rangnick's here, he's a Donny van der Beek type of manager, Donny's going to want to stay at United. But what I was told this morning is, and it was a hypothetical, was if you're at a football club where you've not been made part of the club, and what they clarified was Manchester United have got cliques. You come into that football club, there are cliques that you have to integrate with. And Donny van der Beek is not part of certain cliques. They like him, he's a valued member of the squad, but he's not a powerful member of the team. And Manchester United have cliques that when you come into that club, you either integrate into those cliques and be part of that clique, or you're on the outside, and Donny van der Beek's on the outside. Now, Cristiano Ronaldo comes in, and it doesn't, the Harry Maguires, the Marcus Rashfords, the Luke Shaws, the Scott McTominays. And I'm not saying that exists. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But if that exists, that's a very, very powerful clique. Harry Maguire's the captain. Marcus Rashford's the star of the team. McTominay's a first teamer. Luke Shaw is a first teamer. Very strong clique. Now, if you're Donny van der Beek and you don't integrate into that clique, then you're not very powerful, are you? If you're Cristiano Ronaldo, you come in and they go, "Do you want to be in our gang?" And he goes, "No, I don't. What medals have you won? I'm Cristiano Ronaldo. I think I'll create my own clique, thank you. I'm one of the world's greatest players." Donny van der Beek can't do that. When he came to Manchester United, he has to integrate himself into that team. And he doesn't actually have that sort of personality. He's not forthright, and, you know, he gets lost in the crowd a little bit as a personality. What I was told this morning is that Donny van der Beek, a new manager might come in, but that doesn't change the dynamic of the dressing room, and it doesn't change the fact that he's a bit of an outsider. Not that he's disliked. He's not disliked. He is liked, but he's not a big personality. He's not a leader of the clique, and therefore he sometimes gets a little bit lost in the squad. Donny van der Beek needs a change, and the reality is, is Ralf Rangnick going to change the way Manchester United's dressing room and squad operates in relation to the cliques that it's got? And the fact is, probably not. Donny van der Beek needs a change. He needs a change of situation, and he needs probably a change of club. And the fact is, the big rumour, I think, and I don't have this from this person this morning, I think Donny van der Beek has realised he needs a change. Because nothing's going to change. Certain players are going to get picked ahead of him. When Bruno's back from suspension, he will get picked. Pogba will get picked ahead of him. He is not getting game time, and it's probably because he's almost become, you know, in your cupboard, go and check your cupboards later, there'll be a jar of something or a can of something that you've kept there because you think you'll eat it at some point, but whenever you open your cupboard, you look at it, you see it, but you don't pick it. And I think that's a little bit like what's happened with Donny van der Beek. He is valued, but not valued enough to take people's places. You know, when the going gets tough, they go for different players, and he is not integrated into that team. You know, if you think about David De Gea, there's always been the David De Gea clique of, you know, it used to be Mata, Herrera, Darmian. You can imagine what it is now. You know, you've got the Telles, Bruno, Ronaldo sort of clique there, and then you've got the British players clique of players as well. Where does Donny van der Beek fit into that? He's liked, but he's not a personality in and around that team that is influential, and therefore all he can do is work hard and hope he gets noticed, and it doesn't work. So Donny van der Beek wants to leave Manchester United in the situation that he is in. That's not changed for the whole of the season. He wanted to go on the last day of the season. The agent was working. Now, I did get this. The agent of Donny van der Beek has been working on an exit from Manchester United since last August, all the way up until December, when Ollie, well, all the way up until November when Ollie was sacked. Now, do you think that agent suddenly stopped working on deals just because Ollie got sacked? And that's going to be the interesting thing, because I think where we are now is Donny van der Beek wants out of this situation. It's not good for him. He wants to play in the World Cup. He's not being picked. He's been snubbed. He's played 6 minutes in 360 under a new manager. It's not looking good for him. Bayern Munich are interested in him. A few other clubs are interested in him. The World Cup's in a year's time. He's got no time to waste. The big question is, and it says it on the thumbnail, Donny leaving ? Because I think he would love to go to Bayern Munich. He would love to go to 3 or 4 other clubs who will value him and play him. It's whether United will let him go.